Hey everybody, welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and joining me, as always, is Inquisitor Quiz. How you doing this week?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Glad to hear that. And rounding out our triumvirate of awesome, as always, is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right, I think.
Awesome.
So, yeah, tough week in comics. Lots going on, a lot of movie-related stuff, and what do you want to call it? TV series stuff on streaming services and so forth. I don't know. Batwoman premiered. Lots of people talking about that. I don't have it as a tab story, but did you guys hear who's going to be doing guest spots on Batwoman?
I did hear about it, but I can't remember now. Shit.
Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I heard about that.
Barf.
Let me see if I got this right.
Is that going to be Kate Kane's lesbian lover?
No, apparently she's not going to be appearing on screen. So it's like, so wait a minute. You have a journalist that's going to be doing guest spots. It's a common and useful trope inside comic books and stuff like that, that there's a newsreader in the background reading it, and that's how events are revealed of what's happening. That's what I'm guessing. She's going to be playing a journalist in Gotham, you know?
She's doing the voice of Vesper. Vesper used to date Batman.
Okay. So was she ever a journalist or anything?
She's like a radio host or something.
Gotcha. So you'll be, I'm assuming, like hearing her in the background or something? Or they'll be tuning in for the news story about what there's a new hero in town and she doesn't have testicles.
She doesn't have patriarchy.
That's right. There's a new hero in town and she's not fighting crime. She's fighting the greatest crime of all, patriarchy.
Well, here's the only problem with that. She's using the Batcave. She's using Batman's legacy. She's using all of Batman's resources to get shit.
We're renaming him. He's no longer Batman. He's Bat Patriarchy.
Yeah, okay.
The Batriarchy, if you will.
Batriarchy.
Yeah. Well, it's an essential core thing of the of one of the criticisms that we have, that when you only have a gender swap or an ethnicity swap or an age swap, you haven't done anything in and of itself. Just doing that doesn't mean you've created something new, right? I think
well, tell that to Marvel, because that's all they do.
Well, so you have Jennifer, what's her last name, Jack? She-Hulk. Jennifer
Walters?
Walters, thank you. Like, that's clearly just like, I mean, her name is literally She-Hulk. You know what I mean? Like, it couldn't be more obvious of a gender flip. Well, but Walters has her own, okay, she's a lawyer. Bruce Banner was not. It's the origin, although it's very simplistic, is functional in how she got gamma irradiated blood through the transfusion, right?
Transfusion, yeah.
You know, very, very simple, but very functional story. Now have her go off and do her own thing. You understand what I mean? It's not, I'm the new Hulk. Like, Hulk is gone, She-Hulk is here to replace him, or, you know what I mean? With all of the exact same things. When you look over at Miles Morales, it's blackface Spider-Man. It's Peter Parker done as blackface. Same thing.
He's here to replace Peter Parker. Yes.
Right.
And I think that's where the disconnect we were talking about here, Polly, is the fact that I don't dispute the fact that She-Hulk is made as a woman version of the Hulk, because that's that's kind of what she is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's more than that. They could very easily make Miles Morales an interesting character if they had the balls to make him, to be challenged by things.
There's nothing that we don't say this about over and over again, and I'm gonna beat that drum until that motherfucker breaks, because I've said it before, Gwen Stacy can be an interesting ghost spider.
No.
You just want Gwen Stacy. You're biased. You just want Gwen Stacy to stay.
I am 100% biased. Fuck that character.
Just because you want her to stay dead.
Yes.
That's, well, Okay, but that means that we can just be like, all right, quiz ain't going like shit, and we can move on. I mean, there's
Well, yeah. I mean, that is true. I'm not gonna lie about that. I mean, yeah, absolutely. There's no universe in the multiverse where I will enjoy Gwen Stacy coming back from the dead.
Look at Pete up in chat trying to shitpost. Rachel Maddow is going to rock in Batwoman. Fuck Pete. What are you doing, man? Come on now.
Pete's just happy he got to keep his job today.
What?
Good job, man.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but all right.
Hey, earlier he posted that he was getting called into an interview. One of those talks.
Gotcha.
Ah.
And he was
Well,
concerned, but
reprimand you.
he left the meeting employed. That's good news. Cool.
Yeah, I'm always happy when I leave a meeting and I didn't get fired.
Yeah. And Chaos Eve says, I don't hate because I look hot as Anti-Venom. I have seen this. I have seen evidence of this. It's true.
Meh.
Oh, and Ebony Williams is in chat. Hey, Ebony. Those everybody, man. The regular crew is here. Frosted Glass is here. Cynical Lindsay, Della Hayes, Pete, of course, Mustafa. Fucking awesome. And Bar, who keeps promoting chicken deals. I don't know, man. You can't trust every 7-foot chicken standing in line behind you. That's all I'm going to say. It's just because they're offering good deals doesn't mean they're out for your best interests. Keep that in mind.
And if he's got a southern accent, it's Foghorn Leghorn.
I say, do you want a good deal? What have you thought of did any of you watch the first episode of Batwoman?
No.
Yep.
Okay, what'd you think, Jack?
I thought it was terrible.
Okay. Why?
It was basically just like, oh, check out this cool stuff I found. I made this.
Well, yeah, I know about it. Like, I know
Yeah.
she goes into the Batcave. Like, it's not like she's making. It's not like Barbara Gordon, who goes out of her way to make her gadgets herself, or kind of create this own identity. She just gets into the Batcave and goes, "I made this. I'm the new Batman now.
Right.
Only I'm a woman, so I'm the Batwoman."
Yeah. And, okay, so not only is she basically stealing all Batman's cool stuff, she's also basically Bruce Wayne as well, because she's got a bunch of money because her dad's rich. They live in their own mansion.
Oh yeah, Kate Kane
And
was rich. Yeah,
she likes hot chicks too, just like Bruce Wayne. I see no difference aside from tragic, death of the family or whatever. It's not that interesting of a character in the first episode. She's kind of boring, and she's super short.
Oh yeah, Ruby Rose
She's
is
like
like
5'2" or something.
Yeah, she weighs 90 pounds, soaking wet with boots on, man.
It just means that some of the bigger and bulkier rogues gallery is going to be able to just hurl her across the room.
No, she uses her, as in every. It's a trope, man. The 90-pound woman who can beat the hell out of 250-pound guys with fast ninja kicks and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, but even like a fat, out of shape dude like me gets one hit in and she's done.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't knock her out like when you punch her in the face. You break her jaw, shatter her teeth, rupture some vertebrae in her neck with the punch. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because she's so small.
Yeah.
I mean, she's more Robin-sized. So they're gonna have to film at all sorts of weird camera angles just to make everybody else look shorter than they are and her taller.
See, this is why I like the character of Ghost. Remember when I pitched Ghost a while back after Jack had turned me on to this series I had never heard of before? Okay, she's cool because she's like intangible, so she's kind of got that Shadow Cat thing going on. You can't hit her or hurt her, but inside that universe, she can be hit or hurt, just only in particular ways. But what makes her cool is it's like, I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to pull out two 1911s and lay out some cold justice with warm lead. Like, this is, I mean, that's what's kind of like, if you want to rip off a character, why don't you rip off a character that, like, I'm trying to help them not be quite so hacky in their rip-offiness. Make a female the Shadow, for example. You want me to believe that a female character can actually lay out some justice? She's going to have guns. Or something along those lines. Weaponry, instrumentation of some kind. This running around and jumping and flippy, like, jumpy, flippy, spinny, kicky shit that knocks everybody the fuck out is like, oh, come on.
Well, as Frosted Glass just said, she'll go down after one kick to the Batcave.
Yeah, I was
I
making
mean,
the
how long
Batcave
has it
thing
been
perfect.
since she's had sex? I mean, if you got bats, in there, that's
Oh yeah,
gotta
it might be
clean that
time
shit
to.
out from time to time.
Yeah, it's that not so fresh feeling we've been hearing about.
Yeah, yeah. When bats start taking up residence in it.
Yeah, that's what keeps her from going horseback riding.
What? Okay, this has gone a level too deep for me.
Yeah,
So
balls
what
deep.
Polly's saying is that for a woman character to be believable, she needs to have some sort of equalizer, like a gun.
Yes.
Kind of true. Well, that's the whole thing. There's this like strong feminist agenda going on in there, and it's just really, it's
Well,
like Supergirl. It's a little forced, and you end up groaning and rolling your eyes and missing anything that might be good.
no,
Like she's a
Supergirl is more than just a little forced.
Yeah, very true. But it's not as bad with Batwoman from what I've seen. But like the sets look good. She's a pretty good actress, but most of the others are at best mediocre and at worst soap opera actors.
Well, the Mary Sue got in on this because
Of course they
what
did.
were they going to do? Not get in on it?
Oh,
I
of
Yeah.
course.
the
And she doubled the oppression points here because not only is she a or no, triple, because not only is she a woman, she's a Jew and she's a lesbian.
well, I mean, this is like I don't know if you guys saw Young Ripper 59's video on it. It was like the video clip said everything that you needed to know. Or excuse me, the thumbnail and the video title said everything you needed to know. It was like Rachel Maddow on Batwoman, and it's not going to be political. And the thumbnail is just is just a picture of him laughing, and it's like, yeah, it's. So let me see if I get this straight. The actress is a small brunette, butch lesbian haircut wearing lesbian who never shuts up about how she's a lesbian, and she's all like super political with her progressive opinions. And you get guest spots from a journalist who fits all of those descriptors I just listed. At your show, you
Rachel
don't.
Maddow's a lesbian?
What's that?
Rachel Maddow's a lesbian?
Fuck off. I,
I mean, I honestly don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. Oh man. You are not somebody who seems very slow to judge people by stereotypes. Quiz. Like the butch haircut, the progressivism, the constantly talking about LGBT issues, uh, the fact that she's always walking hand in hand with another woman in public. I don't know. Aren't these cues?
Oh, does she? I don't know. I don't know shit about what she does in public other than cry on television about Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do when your entire opinion based news entertainer thing is has great increasing ratings when you talk about Trump Russia for 2 years straight, and the moment the Mueller report comes out, your ratings drop by, all jokes aside, half. Her ratings crashed. Half of her audience disappeared after the Mueller report, and now it's rising again because Trump Ukraine. And it's like, so you know who's buttering your biscuits. So like any normal person,
Apparently,
like
her girlfriend.
well, you're
Oh
not
my
gonna
god.
you're not gonna sell unliked products. And she's a news entertainer, so what does she do? She talks about what a given audience wants her to talk about, and that's what she's doing. So anyway, of all potato, Rachel Maddow isn't a dude. I know, shocking but true. So over on what do you call it here? Mary Sue?
The Mary Sue.
There we are. Batwoman is getting troll 1-star reviews because people don't have anything better to do.
Bullshit.
No, the show's
People-
just not very good right now.
People have plenty of better things to do, like go see the Joker.
Yeah.
Yes, but well, we'll get into Joker in a minute. But the only reason that people are seeing Joker is because of toxic whiteness. You realize?
Oh.
Okay.
Is that why I saw it?
Yeah, Batwoman is a gender-based show starring a lesbian, therefore is about representation and is positive and wonderful. Joker, on the other hand, is all of those things not. Now, let's see. We'll skip past the first paragraph because I don't believe they have anything to say. Jesus Christ. Mary Sue, like the second paragraph starts, CBR is reporting.
We're not even trying anymore.
Right? You couldn't have even...
Why even bother reading any of the other websites? I mean, they're all the same.
Do you see what I mean? Like it... But like, keep in mind what's going on here. Like, you guys will see it in a minute, but like the
I
critical...
know exactly how this happened, Polly.
Okay.
See, Gail Simone withheld Lord Meowington's cat treats, and he got really upset and didn't want to work today.
Well, this article is written by Princess Weeks. So it was Princess Weeks that was denied Fancy Feast.
Well, maybe Princess Weeks had a hairball that day
and
wasn't feeling real good.
So they've got a clip here from the CBR article showing that at Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is 72%, whereas the audience score is at 8%. You guys just couldn't have gone to Rotten Tomatoes yourself? You needed to quote CBR?
Yeah, they had to give credit to CBR.
We're going to find it, guys. We've talked about CBR making articles out of a single tweet. We talked about that, right? Repeatedly. And they've done it repeatedly. We're going to see the Mary Sue or the Root or Slate or Salon. They're going to do an entire article about a CBR article that's about one tweet.
Yes.
Tweetception.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think that that's like out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I would even go one step further. They will probably like do an article on an article about one tweet.
Yeah.
I can absolutely
see it.
In a CBR exclusive, we learned that's their code for tweets.
Yes. Well, let's see what they do say. CBR is reporting that people are review bombing Batwoman and flooding it with negative reviews. As of right now, it has a 3.2 score on IMDb and an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, they're reporting that it's review bombing, that CBR is reporting they review bombed it. And I saw the CBR article and could have talked about it, but I thought it was funnier to point out that the Mary Sue's reporting on this. And I guess somebody could come at us and say, well, aren't you reporting on that Mary Sue's reporting on, that CBR is reporting on?
We're commenting. We're
mocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ain't reporting on shit. Like, and CBR ain't reporting on shit either, because it's like CBR, according to the Mary Sue here, is reporting that people are review bombing. No. The blog site CBR has one of their hacktivists writing an article where they're opining that the 1-star reviews that are coming in are a result of trolls. And you guys are claiming they're right. That's all that's going on. And we're mocking all of you that you're all part of this incestuous blogging community. You know what I mean?
It's all a circle jerk. They're all just fucking circle jerking to each other because they all have like-minded agendas. And they're all just, it's so navel gazing, the entire thing. It's infuriating.
CBR notes that, quote, well, some of those 2,200 reviewers have expressed constructive critiques about the writing and actors. Others appear less concerned with offering valid criticism and more concerned with simply seeing the series fail. Really? That sounds like you're just opining. Oh, right, because you're just a bunch of bloggers. You're not reporting on shit. CBR notes that. Notice they didn't say CBR offers evidence that. CBR demonstrates that. Nothing. They noted it. That's a way of saying We read in their blog that. Now, I have not watched Batwoman. Oh my God.
Wait, oh my God. Okay, so this
Jesus Christ, guys.
I think we can just disregard everything that Princess Weeks says from
I'm
here
going to
on
read
out.
this
I
one
mean, I'm just
paragraph
saying.
and then I'm done. You haven't
Yeah.
even fucking watched it yet. I've watched it.
Oh, she doesn't need to watch it to absorb the wokeness of it.
Well,
I
it's
don't think
funny.
you know how this works.
The word wokeness appears in this last paragraph that I'm willing to put up with. Why didn't you watch this show? You've been shooting your mouth off about. Oh my God, guys. It's their job to do this.
Yep.
Oh man. Okay.
Can
now,
I get paid to not watch TV shows?
Well, hold on. I said it's their job. I didn't say they were getting paid for it.
Oh, okay. That's a good point.
I mean, I think this whole thing is on a volunteer basis, in my opinion, but that's a guess. I don't know. Now, I have not watched Batwoman yet, but I will, if only because I watch almost all of the Arrowverse shows. But since I do watch pretty much all of them, I know that each one of them has its shaky starts. This is terribly written. The acting isn't always perfect, and the budget, especially in the beginning, isn't the best. Still, in reading some of these reviews, many of which talk about agenda politics and wokeness, that sense of wanting the series to fail does come off really strongly.
Why would people want woke stuff?
Princess Weeks, you are awful.
I
Everything you write is awful, Princess Weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and Farr says it in all caps. Watch this show you're being paid to write. What the fuck? Okay, now this is the thing. You know what I want to do? I want to take like this article or some similar article from the Mary Sue and rewrite it, edit it rather, not for content, just for language. It's terribly written, and that is awful use of an en dash, by the way. That sense of wanting the series to fail does come off really strongly. Really strongly is that's awkward wording, and you're writing in the passive. It still, comma, in reading some of these reviews, en dash, many of which talk about blah 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 blah. No, just listen. Many of the reviews speak of agenda politics and wokeness, which makes me sense there is makes me sense some of the reviewers just want the series to fail. Period. You're there. You wrote in the affirmative. It's clear. Like, you see what I mean? The same information. You're just a horrible writer, is my point.
Yes. She writes how she speaks. And people do not speak how someone should write. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, writing how you speak can be a style, but not when you're writing blog posts like this.
Well, for a dialogue section of a book, but definitely not for this sort of thing. You're wanting to she wants to come off as a sort of pseudo-intellectual, right?
Yeah.
That's her whole shtick and bag here. That's why she feels that she has the moral high ground to talk down to people, right? The problem is that when you type sentences like that and you can't speak the good English talk, you seem like kind of an idiot.
Okay. Let's just move on from that. I'm done. I'm done. I'll give you guys like a little bit of a choice here, this kind of thing. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to move on to talking about Joker? Or do you want to talk about something that? Yeah, why don't we move on to Joker, because we kind of brought that up, right?
Yeah.
And let's go over to CBR, because that's a Joker.
And then Jack and I can do partial reviews. Try to go non-spoilers and stuff. So
Joker. Mark Moran slams Todd Phillips for woke culture comments.
What?
Yeah. Now, you know that Todd Phillips, like the director, had a lot to say about, like, guys, a whole bunch of people are talking about this movie, looking at you, Ontos. so many people wrote up stuff. Salon wrote up a long article that we talked about a couple of weeks ago where this is toxic whiteness and inspiring, it's going to inspire school shooters, et cetera, et cetera. The angry lone white male incel came up a lot, that kind of stuff. And it's like, but the movie doesn't say that. The trailer didn't even indicate that. You were absolutely transferring your own thoughts onto it. You know what I mean? And that's what Todd Phillips was talking about. He's like, guys, you're even saying, I haven't even seen a preview copy of the movie. Like, they let critics see it early and certain audiences see it early, sneak previews and stuff. You're not even one of those. And you're talking about this movie's awful because based upon a trailer that was you guys remember the trailer? It was really artsy and
yes.
It was going for a look and a vibe and a feeling as opposed to telling you what's going to be happening in the narrative.
Yeah.
Lonely guy. It's very somber music. I don't know. And so let's just see what CBR says and how Mark Moran comes back and slams him.
Before you do, Frosted Glass gave us a great meme on Twitter about CBR.
Yeah.
I will hold that up in a here. My computer can only handle so much right now. Damn it! When I get a new computer, I'll be able to.
Damn it, Captain! It doesn't have the power.
Exactly. I need that on a soundboard. Damn it, Captain! She's shaking a pot. Okay. The internet has been buzzing after Todd Phillips' controversial comments about woke culture ruining comedy. They weren't controversial at all. They were only controversial to a bunch of blogists and fucking news entertainers. Everybody else was like, yeah, he's right. Anyway, now, even one of Phillips' own Joker actors, Mark Moran, has weighed in on the director's commentary, slamming him for his tone-deaf and insensitive remarks.
You guys like me now, right? I called him tone-deaf.
Let's see if he actually slams him. Maybe he does, but I don't know. I've got a feeling that might have just been pretty mild in what he said. Let's find out. On an episode of WTF Podcast, Moron, let's just go with that. Moron said that comedy is broad enough to include many different sources of humor, but there are acceptable limits. Furthermore, he asserted that those who cross the boundary shouldn't be surprised to face backlash.
Okay. Hang on a second.
Real quick,
over on the Streamlabs, thank you, Manic, for the donation without a note.
Yep, same for me. Thank you, Manic.
Oh, and for me as well, Manic. I just opened Streamlabs a minute ago and it finally loaded. Thank you, Manic, with no comment.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
3 minutes. Oh, wait a minute. That was how long ago it was. Okay. Thanks, Manic. You rock. Okay, so here's the quote from the WTF podcast that he said. More on here. Quote, "There's plenty of people being funny right now. Not only being funny, but being really fucking funny," he said. "There are still lines to be rode." Weird way to say it.
Ridden.
Yeah. There are still lines.
Oh my God.
Well, he is speaking. You got to give him that. This isn't written. Let's roll with it.
No, that's not even good speaking, unless he was a porn star.
Have a good night, Cynical Lindsay.
Later, Lindsay.
There are still lines to be rode. If you like to ride a line, you can still ride a line. If you want to take chances, you can still take chances. Really, the only thing that's off the table currently at this juncture, and not even entirely, is shamelessly punching down for the sheer joy of hurting people, for the sheer excitement and laughter that some people get from causing people pain, from making people uncomfortable, from making people feel excluded. You know, that excitement.
Wait.
So I've got to wonder then, just a thought experiment here real quick. What would be that same apotheosis if the social justice advocates like Mike Moron here saying the exact same thing to a Nazi? Is that punching down?
Well,
Nazis don't have power, not at all. They haven't had power since the 40s, and then only in Germany.
Well, you know what? It's been talked about on a lot of different streams and podcasts and stuff. We're certainly not going to be the first ones, and others have said it better than I can. what he's talking about is like, what the only thing that's off the table, to whom culturally at this juncture, whose culture, and not even entirely, is shamelessly punching down, according to whom.
Can we not
It's
ignore the
it's always the judge, right? That's the point everyone makes. It's like, you're saying it's off limits according to whom, because it's just you're not making any kind of commentary. Who says comedy has to make a commentary? Well, you're just doing it for the sheer excitement of ridiculing somebody publicly that doesn't deserve to be ridiculed. Again, that's a judgment call. It's all about expression, and what you think is off limits, somebody else doesn't think that's off limits. Again, you make it, he's making it sound as if there's some kind of universally understood line that's being crossed, and that's not the case at all. So what are you talking about?
Okay, two things. First of all, John Connors said, "My buddy likes to ride lines, then his nose is itchy afterward."
Yeah.
Nice.
But the first line in that, he
bleed.
said,
Might bleed a little too.
something about the funny thing. And that's probably not appropriate considering this is a movie about the Joker. No irony there? None?
That's pretty good, actually. I see where he's going here. Hold on, I just assumed their gender. Let me double check. Evangelia Galanis. No, her. Assume her gender is a her. I see where she is going by thinking that this is a slapdown at Phillips, which I don't think it is at all. Moron goes on to say, as I've said before, it's no excuse, Moron added. If you're too intimidated to try and do comedy that is deep or provocative or even a little controversial without hurting people, then you're not good at what you do. Or maybe you're just insensitive. As for those of us who feel they should quit comedy because of woke culture, Moron encouraged them to do exactly that. Just quit. Now, Mark Moron slams Todd Phillips for woke culture comments. He didn't mention Todd Phillips. I think you would have. I haven't listened to this WTF podcast, but I mean, would he not have actually had to have mentioned Phillips in some kind of way, mentioned the Joker film in some kind of way? Would you not have included that as a quote? You didn't anywhere in the story. This is obvious clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
CBR is being CBR. There's a short way of saying it.
Yeah.
Mark Moron made a comment about woke culture, and it's interesting that he did so considering that he's in a film directed by a guy who also made comments about woke culture. That's it. He didn't slam his own director. Not at all. You guys are desperate for some kind of drama. Go fuck yourselves. I'm done with this article. How about you guys?
Hollywood being desperate for drama? Tell me another one, Polly.
Yeah. Just...
These people are patent narcissists, and the moment we all stop paying attention to them, that instant our lives will all be better.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm with you on that.
And I say, speaking of, do you want to talk about Joker?
Sure.
Okay, well, I haven't seen it, and unlike Princess Weeks, that means I don't have an opinion. So, I mean, yeah, I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. No spoilers for not only myself, but Chad as well, the audience as well. And by the way, speaking of chat, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. And if you are so interested, hit that share button and copy the link and send it to your friends on Twitter that you think might be interested. If you're listening in the future, please feel free to put comments below. What you like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see. We get a chance to read them all and respond to most. And so, guys, what did you think of Joker? Let's hear it.
I loved it. I thought it was this movie, in my opinion, is more deserving of a superhero movie to be in consideration for an Oscar than Black Panther ever thought of being.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The way I've described the movie in terms of the abstract is it's less of a superhero movie. So don't go in there expecting Dark Knight. Go in there expecting Psycho. Go in there expecting a new modern Hitchcock movie. because
I,
then you will get exactly what you're expecting, and it's so good.
I would slightly disagree with you on that.
Yeah,
This is Taxi Driver for the modern era.
I got more Psycho than Taxi Driver.
I would say it was more Taxi Driver just because of the way that his life progresses, mixed with The Departed for violence.
Mhm.
But I tweeted out, went to see Joker, good stuff, made me want to read Catcher in the Rye while listening to Helter Skelter on repeat and cleaning my guns and humming Goodbye Horses.
You didn't
Of course.
you didn't bring up any presidents or presidential candidates, did you?
No,
Good.
why would I?
Good. Yeah, why?
I'm on enough
Exactly.
lists. No, I really liked it. I thought it was going to be very mediocre, but it is a really tragic masterpiece. And I took some notes. Uh, th- what you see a lot is the struggle of mental illness, a lack of social contact with other people, social ostracization, single parent household with a lack of support from that parent, and very controlling and manipulative through passive aggressive means, uh, crippling poverty, no community ties, no real social interaction. It was a very alienated character, and I think that really made it kind of tragic in a way that the you could see how he became the Joker in this story. It was not a cheap movie as far as the development went.
I Wiz, would you disagree with any of that? Have you seen Taxi Driver, Red Catcher in the Rye, etc.?
Yes, I've done all of those things. Like I
Okay.
said, I got more of uh, a Norman Bates vibe out of it because
Yeah,
he's extremely he's overall a good guy. He didn't want to start any trouble. He kind of was the trouble was foisted upon him
yeah.
by virtue of his circumstances, and I think that because of that, he got led into this dark path that eventually spiraled entirely out of control. And like I said, the reason why I get more of a Psycho vibe out of it is because by the end of the movie he just kind of accepts the spiral and just goes, fuck it, I'm on this ride, we're gonna ride it out. Because
Yeah, it's very like he's a broken man
Mhm.
by the end of the film, and but strangely, it drives him to madness.
Mhm.
I thought it was really good. I don't want to spoil any of the plot for anyone. I would just say if you can handle going to see it, um, try and do so during like an afternoon showing, so you don't have a lot of idiots in the audience with you.
Oh yeah, because that's one thing we talked about before we went live. Yeah, you were talking about how there were stuff in the theater. Uh, I'll tell mine here real quick. It's not very long. When I went in and got my ticket, one thing I did kind of have to scoff at a little bit was walking into the theater. On the door there was a, if you're wearing a costume, no masks or any of that kind of stuff, and you'll be asked to take it off, and so on and so forth. I'm like, that's dumb, because I've never seen
Yeah.
that for any other movie. I went and I got my ticket, and then I went up to the ticket taker, the stub and stuff, and directly behind them was a full uniform officer.
Really?
Yes. And I got my ticket taken, and then I went through, and I walked up to the officer. I was just like, hey man, I gotta ask, are you here because of the media surrounding this thing? And the cop, to be as fair as possible to him, said, no man, we're here every weekend. We're here every weekend to make sure everything's okay. And I kind of was like, you're paying me lip service, dude. You're not, you're fucking lying to me. But I went in, I watched the movie, and when I came out, There were 3 patrol cars in the roundabout.
Mm-mm.
I'm just saying. That
Well, you know what? This kind of flies in the face of some of the ideas I've had in and around news entertainers and bloggers only communicating themselves and not influencing ideas. Uh, Clearly, their influence is outsized as to the way I would have seen it in certain ways. I mean, you're getting U.S. Army detachments, or National Guard, rather, detachments. You're getting police reacting to what a bunch of influencers on social media are saying.
you know
Yeah.
what I think?
Like, no
The- the- the-
credible threats. Like, what intelligence do you actually have through law enforcement
yeah.
intelligence or whatever the fuck? Domestic surveillance you're not supposed to be doing, that kind of thing. That
Mhm.
would
Well,
lead you to believe that there's something going on other than the inane ramblings of a blogger on salon.com.
You know what? Here's going to be the extent of my authoritarianism, right? Like Weibo Jones put out a tweet a little while ago talking about the extent of her authoritarianism. This is the extent of mine, right? Every single person that drummed up hysteria because of this movie and have wasted police and theater staff's time and effort in terms of trying to make people safe for something that is absolutely garbage. Like people weren't going to go out and shoot people because of a movie.
Hmm.
All of those people should be arrested for wasting police's time.
yeah, inciting panic too.
Hmm.
No, when I my theater, since I live in a pretty sketch area, no cops, but there were about 11 people in the theater when I went there. There was this old gay couple behind me, and I felt reasonably safe that the guy with the walker wasn't packing, so I was cool with them behind me. Then there were these 2 speds ahead of me on the left, and then a bunch of feminists 3 rows up.
Oh no.
2 of them left the theater. Can you guess what
Oh my
group?
god. Really? Because I
Yes.
we didn't have any leave ours.
Oh, no, one of the feminists got up. She had green hair just to fit the scene, and she like neon, like with a black slit down the middle because she can't dye her hair right.
Mhm.
And she was like, "I can't take it. I can't take it." After the first death, and she wandered out, and one of her friends went after her, and the friend
Well,
comes back, and she's
the
like, "She's not coming back. She's not coming back."
the one in the subway?
Yeah, yeah, the subway scene.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because
the
like
tamest one.
yeah, I've and like even then, I mean there's only a grand total of I think 5 people that die in this movie.
Yeah,
Um
it's not. Let's not give any more away. Don't give
yeah.
any more.
The,
But
the I'm just saying, yeah, there's
it's.
well, no, I'm not counting the Waynes,
I
of
have
course, but yeah.
seen more violent films than this. Like The
Way more
Departed.
violent.
The
Oh my
Departed
god.
was vastly more graphic than this.
Yeah.
But then the 2 speds were talking through the whole thing, and I kept kicking the back of their chairs because they were pissing me off. And the one guy's like, "Oh my god, this is so realistic." I'm like,
Yeah.
"The fuck are you talking about? Are you gonna go to Gotham City and look at the actual places? What are you fucking
Yeah, right?
retarded?"
Well, they were
But
speds, so you know.
yeah, the one of the other feminists left about halfway through the movie,
Mhm.
and she's so triggered, so triggered. This is what she kept muttering as she wandered off.
Really? That is
Yeah,
so weird that like Chicago I'd be immune to like that kind of theater experience. Everyone was fucking like okay, just as an aside, there's a scene in the movie where this isn't really a spoiler, not really. Where uh Phoenix like rips out all of the shit in his refrigerator and then climbs in, right? So and I've seen several people on YouTube talking about it, like Critical talked about that scene in particular. They didn't understand what was going on. And like the I knew exactly what was going on, but there was this kid, he had to be like 14, 15, in the theater with his dad, and he leaned over and asked his dad what was going on in that scene, and his dad said he's trying to kill himself.
Yeah, he was fridging himself.
Yeah.
Jesus
You're
Christ.
welcome, Gail Simone.
Right.
No, the best part for me was at the end when the credits started rolling and the feminists that remained got up, looked at the two speds, and was like, "This is fucking Trump's America right here." I lost my
Jesus.
shit. I was laughing my ass off.
Jack, I don't think you realize how boring my theater experience was compared to
Well,
yours.
yeah,
I wish that I had that kind of shit happening at my
I'm
theater.
closer
I
to a
wish.
major university than you are.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. That's true, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like 2 miles from the theater I went to is like 2 miles from OSU. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was
All right.
like, yeah, I'm gonna end up with a bunch of kids in the afternoon, but it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. The old gay guys were like, the movie was great.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, I
See-
love those guys. They're awesome. My kind of people.
Everybody's making comparisons to Taxi Driver, and there's of course the irony of it that Robert De Niro's in Joker,
Yep.
who of course played Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver, the central character. Look, first of all, Robert De Niro should be canceled by cancel culture, regardless of the fact he hates Trump. You're the original portrayer of a school shooter, buddy. The original.
He's the alpha incel.
Yeah. And it's like I don't care if that film's from the late 70s. You deserve to be canceled by that standard. He's not going to be just making the point to move on. I want to talk about somebody's privilege in society while they rant about others' privileges. This is an article that Quiz pointed out to me. Started on Joker. Article capture is New York Times. And of course, it's in the New York Times, which is a, full air quotes here, newspaper. This is Lawrence Ware's blog. This is an opinion piece. Nothing but. It's in the Critics Corner section. This is, so you'd think a movie review. No. This is a full-on rant at society. Okay. Going off of the thing that I've mentioned before, though, of that's fine. If you don't know the speaker, you don't know what they said. If you don't know the author, you don't know what you read. UKRS1, that line was brilliant. What other articles has he written and for whom? Because this can be instructive and informative. And who are you, Lawrence Ware? Well, Lawrence Ware is a philosopher of race. Jesus Christ, that's a thing.
What?
That's his description at the Huffington Post, where he's a contributor.
A philosopher of race.
Yes. That's an employment, apparently.
Like relay?
Yes.
Or track?
Yeah. Now, here I am over at Oklahoma State's EDU website. Shame on you, Oklahoma State. Shame for everything I'm about to say. Here in the Department of Philosophy. Shame on you, Department of Philosophy at Oklahoma State.
Oh my God.
This is Lawrence Ware, teaching assistant professor and co-director of the Center for Africana Studies.
Oh no.
Which is not, by the way, an actual center. When you think center, you think brick and mortar. There's buildings, offices, chairs, computer desks, people working on things, researchers, writers. No, it's just him and his cohort in campus, and they broadly refer to this non-entity, entity that they've created that exists only incorporeally. Like it's a center because the five of them agree that it is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's
that's weird.
like there is no such thing as the triumvirate of awesome. There is because the three of us are here. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the Center for Africana Studies. Okay. I've looked into it. That's it. That's the only way it exists, is because they say that it does. So it has a form of existence, I guess, but not, I don't know. In the same way that Pegasus has existence. We all know what Pegasus looks like. We can describe it, but it's not anywhere in time or space.
No, you're describing a cult. So
anyway, real quick, the statement, Again, shame on you, Oklahoma State. A teaching assistant professor? Wait a minute. What does that mean? That's not a term that exists in academia that I'm aware of outside of this reference.
I think they just meant teaching assistant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm a TA as well. And I have this guy's credibility.
Well, if you can get the New York Times to publish your bullshit, then yeah.
Yeah. I do find this interesting. BA from Oklahoma State, right? And his MA in philosophy from Oklahoma State. And now you're a teaching assistant professor at Oklahoma State. Okay. I don't have a problem with somebody, lots of people will run through at the same institution. And I'm not trying to judge it on that. My point is that he has a master's degree. Okay, so do I. So do lots of people. I'm not trying to hold it up. I'm just saying this phrase, teaching assistant professor, this is a made up thing, y'all. This is why you want to look into the people that are saying things. It's like, wait a minute, who are you? And I don't mean in terms of credentials. You have to have credentials to say something. Just if you don't know the speaker, you don't know what they said, sort of thing. If you don't know something of the speaker, you don't know what they said. You're not a real professor. You just have a master's degree. You're not even a doctoral student, because otherwise you'd be proud of that, or you would say it. It's credibility, it's credentials, right? It's a line on your CV. You'd say, I'm a PhD candidate, PhD student, whatever the fuck. You just have a master's degree as the co-director for the Center of Africana Studies and the diversity coordinator in the Department of Philosophy. Buddy,
I hope that's a volunteer position.
you wormed your way into this, being somebody who's in academia. You're the diversity coordinator for the Department of Philosophy, and you're a philosopher of race. And a teaching assistant professor. These are all made up titles, and you know it. You wormed your way in because of white guilt.
Yeah.
That's a harsh condemnation on my part, and it's purely speculative, but that's my best guess, because you don't have the credentials to have the titles that you have, but yet you have them. Why? SJW era. That's why. In the era of Trump. That's why. Mm-hmm. So what the he is taught and lectured across the country on issues ranging from race to race and economic policy. He organizes critical conversations and hosts a number of events on campus related to race, gender, and religion. So you grind a fucking axe and stir the pot of social anxiety, you race hustler. Now, that's a sharp condemnation. It's just my opinion, but I don't think it's invalid. I
mean, if you're a fraud, you have to keep the fraud going or people find out.
You're not wrong. I like the way you said that, because it relates directly to what he wrote in the New York Times, because now not only is he a contributor to The Root, a contributor to Huffington Post, a contributor to NPR, he's now a contributor to the New York Times. Wow. And you have to keep it going. Just like you said, well, let's read what he says about the Joker, because as if the philosopher of race isn't going to weigh in on this one, right? Sorry for all the yakking, but it explains so much of what we're about to read. The real threat of Joker is hiding in plain sight. What the film wants to say about mental illness or class divisions in society is not as interesting as what it accidentally says about whiteness. Motherfucker. Before Joker opened last weekend, much was being made of how the tale of a murderous villain echoed news stories of mass shooters and incel threats. Fuck you, anxiety race hustler. And how the film might encourage unbalanced viewers to commit acts of violence. As it turned out, it mainly inspired audiences to open their wallets to the biggest October opening ever. Would have been saying the complete opposite thing if the film had bombed. And you know it.
Yep.
After watching the film, I can understand the concerns. Directed by Todd Phillips and starring Joaquin Phoenix as the deranged clown Arthur Fleck, the title character Joker is simultaneously a well-made film in its own right and a blatant mashup of The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver. Okay? It nods at classism and winks at the Bruce Wayne family mythos. And at its core, the movie is about a mentally ill loner. Okay, so you've been... Okay, where are you going with this? Well, let's see, because things start to get really, really weird. Still, what struck me most about this film... Okay, I'm going to, in my opinion, editorialize what he just said there. What struck me the most about this film, how I'm going to keep my career going by constantly stirring racial and ethnic and anxieties in society that are at peak value right now. Thus, I see the most opportune time to take cynical advantage. I'm going to now subsequently read all sorts of shit into this film. But
cynically taking advantage would be, hey, Evolved Potato has been throwing our Streamlabs in the side chats.
Oh, hey,
Thanks, Evolved.
that's because Evolved Potato is awesome. No, that's greatly appreciated, Evolved. Still, what struck me the most about this film in my racially obsessed way to promote my own career is what it wants to say about mental illness or class division. Society is not as interesting as what it accidentally says about whiteness, the main focus of my rants that take me across the country so I can make white people feel guiltier if they're stupid enough to fall for my crap. 4, it is essentially a depiction of what happens when white supremacy is left unchecked. It shows the delusions that many white men have about their place in society and the brutality that can result when that place is denied. Hey, you guys
talking about other people's delusions.
Well, that, hey, you're a couple of white guys. What does it feel like to know that this man can read your mind?
Yeah,
I think he misread it.
The fact that the Joker is a white man is central to the film's plot.
Mm-hmm. Is it now?
Well, only because he's criticizable. And I think that this is a point that needs to be made here. When it's, I want a black Superman or a black Spider-Man, there's nothing about the character that means he needs to be white. He can be everything. He's the everyman. Can't everyone be a hero? Are you saying black people, Chinese people can't be heroes? Therefore, why can't Superman be Japanese? Why can't Spider-Man be black, etc.? Right? This is the argument. Whereas characters of color are different. It's often essential to their character. That's why you cannot change T'Challa to being white or Asian, because it wouldn't make sense. Really? Okay. But this is a white character who can't be anything but white. Why? Because it's essential to his character, because he's wide open to criticism for his white privilege. Oh. It's almost like you set up standards that help you or something.
No, it's because he's evil. And all white people are
evil.
Yep.
And privileged.
Yep.
Yeah. And arrogant if they're not sensitive enough to understand their privilege. Ergo,
and
evil.
Who's whiter than a clown? And what do they call him? The clown prince of crime. So he's even royalty.
So for what is essentially a depiction of what happens when white supremacy is left unchecked. It shows I read that. Okay. The fact that the Joker is a white man is central to the film's plot. A black man in Gotham City, really New York, in 1981, suffering from the same mysterious mental illness as Fleck, would be homeless and invisible. There's more homeless white people in the United States than there are black. Go fuck yourself.
But it's not about a black guy.
Yeah, well, hold on. Think about this. Hold on. I get your point, but just think about what this is going to be the last paragraph. We're just going to leave it. He wouldn't be turned into a public figure who could incite an entire city to rise up against the wealthy. Black men.
Rodney King wasn't a thing.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't committing acts of violence and wasn't brought on to talk shows to talk about it like he is in the film.
No, he was a victim of violence. But what about the race riots of fucking Los Angeles?
Yeah. Okay, look.
Oh yeah, no. It's fine. It's fine. No, that didn't happen. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Black men dealing with Fleck's conditions are often cast aside by society, ending up in the streets or in jail, as studies have shown. Yeah, well, you should do more than cherry pick those studies, and you'd see that mental illness is prevalent amongst all classes of society. How much it's helped has more to do with money than it has to do with race. And you're saying, what it says about whiteness, and you say it doesn't really make the commentary on classism that it claims to. And when this person says classism, yeah, you're a fucking Marxist, because you interpret wealth automatically as a matter of class, as if there's no such thing as social and monetary mobility in the United States, when the studies that you refuse to show the most social mobility in the world happens within the United States. Rich people get poor people get rich. You can move up and down faster in the United States, and more than anywhere else in the world. That's why phrases like nouveau riche actually mean something here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me grab a Streamlabs here real quick. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bearcock. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the West. I'm not a sports fan, so I don't mind saying that.
Sorry, it's kind of had to take a vape there. Nicotine and all, you know how it is. Us white people with our crazy things. Well, you know what? I mean, I think that's the majority of the article because he goes on, black people, if the Joker were black, he wouldn't have been treated like this. It's essentially because Joaquin Phoenix playing Fleck is white, and that's why he's able to do all the things that he is in the film. It would be entirely different. This is essentially true of what you see about white men. The fact that the New York Times publishes this is part of their 1619 push. We're going to push the white supremacy thing. You mentioned white supremacy. We will publish your race hustling article. You all are scum. You're scum because you're willing to make money off of the worst kinds of things. You remind me of preachers that are passing around the collection baskets while talking about it's only here that you will be saved from you will receive salvation. Now, money, because somehow your salvation and money are connected, even though I haven't said so. I'm passing around the collection basket at the same time. Hire me to make a speech. Hire me to tell you how bad you are. This is how you will be absolved of the guilt that I'm telling you you should feel. And the New York Times is just all too happy to promote this. The New York Times is all, because we are trying to sell newspapers. We can talk about this. Their leaked emails demonstrate it. The Trump-Russia story is over. What are we going to do? We're going to focus on white supremacy now. We're going to push 1619 and we're going to push commentary upon white supremacy and Donald Trump as the chief white supremacist.
The weird thing about it is too, getting back to this specific topic at hand for this too. He's sitting there talking about it's like the fact that Arthur Fleck is a white guy means that he's able to do all this stuff that a black person never would be able to, like being ignored by society and beaten up because of his lower social standing. I don't get how you're saying that this guy who essentially is shit on his entire life in what's depicted in this movie is somehow doing something that black people can't do.
Yeah.
That like race was not even brought into this at all until this race hustler did. So what the fuck are you talking about, you retard?
I don't think he saw the movie.
No, he didn't.
Ryan Walters makes a good point. Suicide is ironically more common amongst the wealthy. Yeah, you can get into Maslow's hierarchy of needs and to explain that sort of thing. You're not going to waste time thinking about it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's the sole explanation of it. I doubt it, but I'm certain it's in the mix somewhere. Yeah. The final point that I personally, I mean, you guys can talk on if you have further things you want to say, but the last point that I want to talk about is the what I am certain would be seen as, oh, here's this comic book curation thing, right? You got 3 white men, 3 straight white cis men, all commenting on this. This is an example of white fragility. Can't talk about you without you. Oh my God, snowflakes, right?
That's an excuse, not a reason.
Well, I've heard this turnaround though. Social media, Twitter. I've heard people comment on it in YouTube videos, where it's like, you know why we spend so much time? At least I'll speak for myself. Why I spend so much time focusing on this, specific on comic book curation, because this is about comics, and this is taking characters. And we talked about getting butts in seats to send social messages, and when the social messages aren't on message, meaning promoting your version of progressive values, you have nothing but criticism for them. All of these characters we love in the media that we love is nothing more than a fucking tool for you to promote your politics. That's number one, why I spend so much time talking about it. Number two, why focus on the why people thing? Because you're talking about me. And it's again, you can't stand it. Yeah, you know why? Because you're wrong.
Yeah.
I am one of these guys. I, unlike you, know what it's like when it's nothing but white people in the room talking. Unless you are fantastic at stagecraft makeup, you don't know what it's like to hear when it's only white people in the room talking. The things you're saying simply don't measure up to my lived experience and personal truth. I don't
Well,
even
they're
get like I mean, this is when you're overhearing conversations, not just my small group of friends, but amongst us. It's yeah, there's this dramatic thing of not wanting to seem to be well, it's because they want to maintain their position of white privilege. No, I don't see that at all. That's some shit you're making up to continue on some bullshit. I'll tell you where the anger comes from me and other straight white cis men, the worst people society's ever created. It comes from the anger of being sold a bill of false goods. That's how I describe it anyway. Racism is supposed to be bad. That's what you've been told. And it is bad judging someone by the color of their skin, not the content of their character. That is supposed to be the thesis on which you proceed. Except now it's become a reversal of that. It's wrong. You should be judging people on this, and white people are the bad ones. This is pure racism. How dare you call us the racist? You're the racist. We can't even be This, I've been told the whole time, is wrong.
well,
And
by
now you're
using
reversing it. That's where the anger comes from. You are a racist promoting racism, claiming you're trying to eradicate racism. Fuck you. This is all, and you're making me the villain of your bullshit. Go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think by saying that you have white fragility as a cover for their own racism, because then they have an out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying something racist. You're just weak.
I'm not a racist. You're just weak. Wow. Yeah.
That's what they're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's just really succinct. Yeah. That's. I don't know. I'm talking a lot about this because it's just that it's in the New York Times and it's permitted to be a blog. And this is an axe I love to grind because you talk about platforming nuttery. I mean, this whole thing about who should be deplatformed, who has the right to a platform. Fuck this
Well, they'll
nonsense.
print something like this, but they won't print David Duke. I mean, I don't get it. It's the same
Right?
kind of crap.
Yeah.
It's the same racism, yes.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
It's promoting a way of describing an entire group of people by the color of their skin promoting a means by which you can judge large swaths of an entire skin color.
Well,
Because he says many white men feel. If you were to talk with this individual and say, yo, man, I mean, that's not my experience. He said, I said many, not all. Absolution.
yeah, but
right?
see, he's creating the boogeyman that he's afraid of or that he thinks exists because he's ostracizing these socially awkward people that he's shitting all over. Instead of saying, "Hey, we need to be more accepting of other people and try and get along," no, he's like, "You're a fucking piece of shit because of your skin color." That's going to create resentment and it's going to cause problems.
I like this. Number one, nowhere. All I see is an abuser, a victim, and a voyeur. Shit, I need a Sinatra, a bell. Ding, 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 ding. That's
Hey,
good.
the judge said I am not a voyeur. Thank you.
No, the voyeur is me.
Thank you, Jacob Jett over on the Streamlabs for the donation with no message.
Ah,
Appreciate it.
you gotta love the people that are just giving money and just being generous because they like the content. You people are awesome.
Yeah.
Let's
Broke.
Yeah. Let's move on to something relatively possibly positive, and actually positive, not by these weirdo standards. Over on Bounding into Comics, Star Wars rumor: Kathleen Kennedy to step down as Lucasfilm president after Indiana Jones.
Wow, she's not done ruining stuff yet.
That was my immediate takeaway from that headline too. I was like, oh God, they're gonna let her ruin another Indiana Jones film. Not that she was responsible for ruining Crystal Skull. Nope, that was solely Lucas and Spielberg's fault.
I did hate that movie. I don't know why everyone shits all over it.
I've said the same thing again and again. The first half hour is epic. It's great. It works. It's after that it's just kind of like, whoa, wait.
Well,
aliens.
Why do you hate aliens, man? Other than the reptilians, which I get, but I thought it was a fun B movie that could have been made without Shia LaBeouf.
Actual cannibal.
Is he?
Do you not know about that video?
No,
I do.
You should check it out, Jack. It's a YouTube video. They did
That's some
a
heavy
whole
duty lore right there.
stage play, actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah, the little. Oh yeah, that thing was funny. The video. I forgot that was a lyric in there. I was thinking of that news guy that ate people brains.
There's the face, chat. This is who's responsible if you're not liking what Disney has done with Star Wars. Skip the first sentence because I've learned from my past mistakes. The rumor reportedly comes from Making Star Wars' Jason Ward on his Now This Is Podcasting, episode 284, that was made available to his backers on his Patreon. Wow. However, Reddit user Sidon... This is turning into some guy said that some other guy said. What the fuck? Okay, so here's what he said on the podcast. Jason heard that Kathleen Kennedy will step down as Lucasfilm president after Indiana Jones 5, but will still produce movies. Kevin Feige will run Lucasfilm, but will have separate divisions run by other people. Okay, that's it. That's the whole article. Some guy heard that this was said somewhere. This is thinner than a fucking Trump whistleblower story. I'm done with this. You guys got anything to say?
Can we call her Darth Kennedy? Because she was supposed to be the chosen one.
Right?
Why does she look like Caitlyn Jenner there in that picture?
I think she.
Wow.
You're not wrong.
No, you're not. But
it's creepy. Thanks for that. No, I'm never getting that image out of my head.
Wow.
You are welcome.
Okay, chat. You are our loyal audience. Go ahead. It's up on screen. Put that picture of Caitlyn Jenner up next to this picture of Kathleen Kennedy and put it up on Twitter and say, is there really that much of a difference? Like, I mean, yeah, it is a striking similarity. You're not wrong.
She's just aging poorly, and she's not a terribly attractive woman.
Woo. Like she has a very mannish jawline, doesn't she?
Extremely.
Yeah, I think I am biased because I don't like her.
You're not. Okay, I don't like her either, but hold on, sneeze.
Frosted Glass said Caitlyn is stunning and brave. No, she's bold and beautiful. Frosted.
That article was a wild waste of time. I get the idea of being hopeful about her leaving, but I mean, that rumor's so thin, yo.
Yeah, it borders on wishful thinking,
right? I don't even want to talk about this article other than to mention it. Mile High Comics monthly Drag for All Ages show draws protesters and counter protesters. What the fuck is going on?
They've been doing those for about a year now.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it's still going on, and I'm looking at the picture and I'm like,
oh, they have a kids drag from what I hear.
Yeah, this is a picture of the kids drag. That's what you're.
The picture hasn't come up on the screen.
No, I know. It's just you'll just.
Say is this the strip drag show at a library?
No, it's at Mile High Comics.
Yeah, which if you don't know, Mile High Comics is huge and legendary and been around for I don't even know how long, Jack.
Like 30 years or so, probably more than that.
Woo. A group of protesters was met by a group of LGBT allies and activist counter-protesters as the former gathered to protest a recent drag queen event that was held at the comic book shop, Mile High Comics. Held on September 29th, Mile High Comics announced that they would be hosting an all-ages drag show at their Colorado flagship store titled Drag for All Ages, Family-Friendly Drag Show at Mile High Comics.
Yeah, they've been doing those for a while, and the owner's real big into drag.
Yeah, we covered it back in like episode. Well, I'm gonna stop saying that. We talked about it. We can cover it. We're not journalists, and neither are they, bastards.
Hey, if they're journalists, we're more qualified than the Mary Sue.
We're certainly better writers than most of them are, for God's sake.
And none of us are Gail Simone's cats.
I don't write in the guise of my imaginary cat friends, okay?
Yeah,
I write in the guise of an otter. It's much better.
exactly.
I got nothing. I mean, all of the things that are obviously bad about this are obviously bad about this.
I say I need to bring up one thing. Formerly, Rod Line asked if it's true, then who runs the MCU? First of all, Master Blaster. Second of all, he's referring to Kevin Feige taking over for Kathleen Kennedy.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Phase 4 is what Marvel the MCU is going into.
Yeah.
Is going to absolutely ruin the MCU. Get ready for it.
Oh man.
Everything that you guys loved about the Marvel movies, it's all going away.
Yeah.
What do you talk about? Brie Larson's gonna run the female Avengers, and Girl Hawkeye's gonna show up to replace the icky boy.
Yeah, no, that's great and everything, because that gets me one step closer to my America Chavez movie.
You're
need
just a
this to
nihilist
happen.
at heart. People say I'm a collapsitarian, but holy shit, man, you're just lighting it all on fire already. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna salt the earth once the village burns down.
Right?
Like,
I respect that.
Yeah.
It's an accelerationist who's pouring accelerant on everything. Vortex says Mile High was there when I was 20 and now I'm 46. Yeah, exactly. It's been around forever, right? It's wild that I see. This is you're a drag queen, and dragging is an entire culture and thing on its own, and I understand that it's a whole community of people and has been for a long time. But it's coming into politics of its own because of the LGBTQ protesters and counter protesters and sub intersectional protesters and et cetera. Like all these people are making the drag queen doing drag a thing, including things in it that weren't included before, if you know what I'm saying. Like it.
Well, it doesn't cross over well. Like I don't know what these two worlds have. There's no Venn diagram where drag shows have anything to do with comic books. Like go rent a hall somewhere. These are two things that you shouldn't be mixing together. There's too much politics at play there, and you don't want to hurt your business on either end. The drag shows are going to alienate comic customers,
Right?
And having a drag show at a comic shop is going to probably alienate a lot of LGBT people that are just going to be fucking confused by this.
And
they're like, we have to go to a comic book store in the middle of a fucking industrial district.
I mean, you're not
Are we
wrong.
getting murdered?
Like
hang on. There's one factor you haven't taken into consideration here, Jack.
What's that?
Is the fact that this is number one, Marvel's dream, because Marvel, this is the phantom audience that Marvel thinks wants to buy comics. But the fact that you're bringing that up, and the fact that LGBT people are going to sit there and say, ew, why do I need to go to a comic book store to see a drag show?
Be a bunch of sweaty fat nerds. They're going to be sliming all over them.
That just proves the fact that these people that Marvel's trying to fucking follow to try and get people to buy comics don't fucking exist.
Yeah, it's two separate communities that have very little crossover. Of course, you're going to have some comic fans that are LGBT, but they're going to be weirded out that you're doing this at a comic store. I mean, that sounds like the setup for a horror movie.
And this is what I'm saying. The why do we talk so much politics in and around comics? Because they're constantly being used as a tool by people to do weird shit. That's why. It's and that's why the claims of Comicsgate fall. The actual claims of Comicsgate fall away in favor of a produced narrative of white supremacy, racism, transphobia, etc., etc. Because the claims are write good stories, don't call us Nazi. You've heard me list the three things repeatedly that make Comicsgate what it is, in my opinion, lots of people's opinion. And it's like, it's because you're a transphobe and a racist and an Islamophobe. No, the good stories thing is central because you've stopped writing stories and focused on identity and stuff because you don't know, don't care, don't want to care about the medium or anything in it. You just want to use it as a tool to get butts and seats to promote messages. And it's weird. Stop.
I
So
don't go to a jazz club and open up an H&R Block stand because those things have nothing to do with each other. There's no cross promotion there.
yeah.
It doesn't benefit either side. It's just dumb.
And like back a while ago, formerly Rodline said, if we have drag queens in comics stores and libraries, can we have strippers in there too? No, you can't. And let's just all marinate in the incongruity of that for a minute. It's like, why is it? Why does it make sense, and why is it brave and beautiful for young boys to dress up in sexy evening gowns, portraying a extremely feminine image, as feminine of an image as they can, but a woman portraying a feminine image is not? It's degrading and misogynist. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it seems like you're portraying femininity and classically feminine characteristics on stage for an audience in both cases. But one is stunning and brave, and the other one is degrading and misogynist. Huh. Interesting.
I don't try to figure it out.
Have double standards, Polly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised there's protests going on because it's just you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
I think it's bad for business. I mean, as a former comic shop owner, I would never have done this, even after hours, because it's just bad optics. You're alienating too many people, and you're going to create more problems than it's worth. Because then you start getting all the weirdos, like the Westboro Baptist kooks coming out, and that's going to chase off your regular customers, even if they're cool with the drag show. Just do it at a different venue. I mean, it's not like there aren't places that you can rent to do this sort of thing. It's not even about the fact that they're having a drag show. It's about the fact that it's not good for business. And both sides are going to be really weirded out by this.
Let's be fair here. Westboro Baptist Church, if they're going to show up, they're going to show up regardless of what you do.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
Yeah.
You're right. They don't even need a good reason or a reason at all, honestly.
Yeah, my favorite bit is there were like a couple of wildfires in Australia, and the Phelps is the leader of the church, right? Something.
Oh,
Phelps,
yeah.
right?
Okay. I don't know. Sure.
Puts out a video saying God hates Australians. It's one of my favorite videos that I have saved. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not surprised that this is a controversial thing, but it really doesn't have to be.
And
aside from the kid thing, I get that, but if you want to have a drag show, do it at a place that's more designed for that. I mean, have you been to a comic shop that had a stage?
No.
See?
I've been to ones that have like game rooms in the back, but good luck having a fucking drag show in a 5x10 closet of a room.
Yeah, I mean, you need room, you need a stage, you need walking area. It has to be a performance, and if people can't see the performance, it's pointless. So it's not even a good facility for that. So rent someplace that, like a theater or something like that, that would be more appropriate for the needs of the performance art. So I don't know. I'm just confused by the whole thing. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Bar makes an interesting point. Lol. So that's why everything wants to kill us. That's right. God hates you. That's why there's huntsmen and all manner of poisonous beast and drop bears and the whole 9 yards. That's why. I mean, for God's sake, your ocean took one of your prime ministers away from you. It's a literally God-forsaken place.
The ocean took one of Steve Irwin?
What?
Steve Irwin?
No, one of their prime ministers went for a swim one day and never came back.
Oh, other than Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin was never a fucking prime minister, man.
You don't know that. You don't know how their politics works.
Okay, I have a sense of how their politics work, political science and all, but
I don't.
And
I have no idea.
I do know for a fact Steve Irwin was never one of their fucking prime ministers, Jack, for God's sake.
Okay, that's your opinion. I'll speak my truth. Thank you.
I'd like to see if their sales go up on Drag Queen Days. Rodline says, yeah, well, they won't. I think Jack is right. Comic book fans are going to come by and go, what the fuck? Let's come back another day.
There's no crossover. if your customers are in drag, they're already your customers because you're a comic shop, and if they're there to buy comics, they're gonna buy comics. It doesn't matter if they're in a drag show or not. You're not going to get new customers this way. This is not. You're not making any sales here. You're not helping anyone. You're just confusing people, and I don't like to be confused.
Yeah, Harold Holt was his name. Far reminded me of that. And apparently there's this I actually think delightful myth that apparently Aussies have created, that Harold Holt, he didn't die, he didn't disappear. He's waiting out at sea, and he'll return in Australia's time of greatest need.
He's King Arthur?
That's what I'm saying. It's a great idea. I love it. He's just out there wading water, treading water, whatever they call it. You know, he's just and he'll return like the king of legend in Australia's darkest hour.
So Harold Holt is King Arthur, and since Ryan Walters said Steve Irwin died for your sins, apparently the crocodile hunter is Jesus.
Man, y'all need Jesus. That's what I'm thinking.
Does that make Paul Hogan like the Holy Spirit?
Yes.
Okay, look, I'm gonna cover his story I just gotta stop saying that. I'm gonna talk about this story so fast that you, Jack, and you, Quiz, won't even have time to see it before I take it off screen.
Okay.
From Bounding into Comics. New female-centric John Wick spin-off in the works from director Len Wiseman. No. Just no. There, I'm done. That's it. That's all I got.
You didn't want to. You don't want an R63 John Wick?
No, I don't. Because it's just, what are we supposed to do? Reiterate the points that we've already made about if you have a main idea. So John Wick films are what? A guy who's given a workable but thin need for revenge. You know what I mean? Because the movie is about
dog, dude. I'd murder some motherfuckers for killing my dog.
Well, it's the point is his need for revenge. The point is to do an action film with new styled heavy duty action choreography. The film is about the action choreography. It's a shoot 'em up. It's a heavy duty action film and in a John Woo style, done in an original style of action choreography. The other films don't look like that, and they're really well done. And so they were successful. So of course, well, we don't want to do John Wick 4, so we'll do female John Wick or black John Wick, or because they have no imagination, these people. If something's successful, let's just flip the gender, flip the ethnicity, and somehow we've created something new. No, you haven't.
Ryan pointed out if it's girl John Wick, her cat gets killed.
I was gonna say that, but
no, I think they should actually go
That's
one
great.
step further
That's fucking great.
and flip the entire concept. John Wick gets killed, so his dog goes out for revenge.
There you go.
Who won't watch that? A cute little puppy dog running around with guns, killing people? Oh, it'd be awesome. I'd watch the shit out of that. It'd be adorable.
Yep.
Matt of Winter, don't start that shit. It's a Mandela effect thing. Steve Irwin was the prime minister.
Nope, I've already said it. It's true.
That's so awful. I remember it. I remember his not inauguration.
Yeah,
but,
he had to wrestle an alligator to get that position. And he had a koala as his lieutenant prime minister.
So
I don't even
now-
know if that's a job, but it is now.
In this Mandela effect world that we've now created, he's now the alligator hunter instead of the crocodile hunter.
Yeah. Well, they don't have crocodiles down in Australia, do they? Don't they have alligators?
I can't even remember the difference between the two.
The snout, I think. I don't know. I don't fucking live on a prison island.
Right?
Everybody down there's more badass than me. I don't want to go there. I'm scared.
But yeah, I know. I mean, they walk amongst things that are trying to kill them all the time while whistling a tune. I'm not that brave. Fuck.
I know.
America has just as many things that want to kill you.
Yeah, but I can avoid those neighborhoods. Down there, like far as like, oh, there's not that many things. There's just a few spiders or something out in the middle of the outback that are like 10 feet tall. She plays it off like it's nothing.
They have big spiders there, yes, but the bigger the spider, the less lethal it is. You want to talk about lethality of spiders? We have the only lethal spiders here in America: the black widow and the brown recluse.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
only lethal spiders in the world.
I
they
didn't.
have
Okay, but nothing as frightening as that fucking huntsman thing, and we don't have
Well,
coconut crabs either.
No, we don't have coconut crabs. That's
Well, there's- we
Those
don't-
things are fucking nightmares, man.
What about those
Literally.
squids that are the little what are those things called? Jellyfish that are like highly poisonous, and one sting from it is enough to kill like 50 men.
We've got jellyfish here in the States.
Yeah, but they don't kill you. These are like
They
super
can.
deadly ones that surround Australia. They're only found around Australia. And I see people swimming out there. That means that everybody in Australia is 10 times more hardcore than I am.
All right, let's talk about Rob Liefeld and his
Oh no.
thing. Over here on CBR, our favorite shiltastic website, Rob Liefeld threatens Marvel with legal action over shady practices.
Oh.
Yeah,
Good.
how long till this gets tossed out? But I don't even know what it's over, so I shouldn't prejudge.
No,
Let's find out.
I don't even care. I'm good. Rob Liefeld should sue the shit out of Marvel.
Right? Well, no, he's just like, Daddy Disney's got deep pockets and Rob wants some money. Prolific comic book creator and Image Comics co-founder Rob Liefeld may be pursuing legal. Maybe. Oh God. It says threatens. Okay, no, fair enough. I take it back. In a series of tweets, Liefeld revealed he had recently spoken with his attorney and would be potentially taking Marvel to court, calling out the Walt Disney Company, and CEO Bob Iger specifically. Without divulging specifics, Liefeld hinted that the possible lawsuit was related to Deadpool when asked by fans online. Well, that's it. That's the whole story. Wow. So you're quiz. They made an article out of tweet.
It's an exclusive then.
Shock my imagine.
Right. Okay, let's fucking move on.
So-
Jesus Christ.
Look at that picture of him though. Doesn't he just look like he's trying really hard to do the sad puppy dog face and just comes off as mildly downsy?
But I mean, like this guy doesn't have the right to complain in the way that let me say that again. This guy doesn't have the positioning to complain in the way that a lot of other people do. Jack, you've brought this up before, right? Comic book creators who created characters back in the day had no property IP rights to the characters.
Correct.
In a lot of ways. Rob, you did. Rob, you sold them. Rob, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's more complex than that. It was a bunch of business dealings where he ultimately ended up with some, but very little intellectual property control of the characters. And it's complicated and stuff like that. But don't act like you're Frank Miller, that everyone and their dog has used his ideas and he got nothing off of it except for the original page rate he was paid.
Well, I'm wondering if he isn't supposed to get some kind of residuals every time they use Deadpool in like a movie or other media, and he didn't get any.
What comes to mind is that the talking about residuals and back pay and stuff. Is it like that the person that would at Image specifically, that would be the person that would have to be throwing a shit fit about not getting residuals, especially for something from Marvel, should be Todd McFarlane. I mean, when you really get down to it.
And Venom?
Because of Venom, yeah.
Well, see, now there's the thing. Intellectual property is a weird thing because he didn't create Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
He didn't create the alien symbiote, but he did create the character. So it's like you would have to get all of the lawyers who are high-fiving each other that they get paid hundreds of... Duck! Quiz Duck! It's coming right at you, man. Holy shit. I almost ducked. Fuck. I mean, well, I guess not duck. Dive roll.
What's even worse is that it's currently 12:47 a.m. What kind of dickhead fucking train operator just sits there and lays on the goddamn horn like that? Fuck that guy.
Well, okay.
He's probably drunk.
Well, Jesus Christ. It's not like I can
turn fucking going.
It's not like I could turn the train. There's no steering wheel. I can drink. It's fine. There's only a go and stop switch. That's it. Well, in all seriousness, as a side question, don't they? I would have figured they blew the horn louder at night in case anyone's up on the tracks that they can't see. Isn't that the case?
I don't know.
I
You
think they just do it at crossings.
quiz. You live
Huh.
there. How do you not know?
I try to fucking put this out of my mind. It's only
Okay,
when I'm
all
on
right. I
stream
was just
and shit
wondering
like
that you might have noticed that it's louder at night than during the day. I don't know.
Well, there's also no ambient noise, like traffic or anything
Right.
like that. So
Yeah.
it's generally quieter, so it's going to sound louder. I
Yeah.
think they're just hanging out outside with a horn. There's not even an actual train. It's just two dudes out there with a train horn,
Mhm.
and they're just fucking with you. They're just running up and down the block by your house.
Dude, if it turned out that that was actually the thing that was happening, I have a 45. I won't shoot them. I'll shoot their goddamn train horn.
I could create a comedic sound collage of that. I mean, roar, bang, bang, bang. Roar. Okay, so I'm not even going to put this article up because it's so thin. There's nothing to talk about. Who sent this? Jack, you sent this in by DMs. It's a CBR article on titled. Hold on. Tommy Wiseau is ready to direct Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope they do it.
Well, okay. For those unaware, Tommy Wiseau is a hack director who directed a famously bad, so bad it's good film called The Room. He's all over social media. People love joking around. He's blah blah blah. Okay, so somebody puts together this little thing and tweets at him. Spider-Man 4, a Tommy Wiseau film, and he retweets it and then tweets it out himself, and everybody laughs. CBR wrote an article about this. They wrote another article about some guy's tweet.
I think it should happen.
I'd
watch the shit out of that movie. It'd be awesome.
That's a funny joke and stuff, right? Okay, but that's not the point of what you should be writing stuff about. CBR, you are comic book resources, all right? You're not here to cover bad filmmakers who make jokes about making big budget comic book movies. That's not what you should be writing articles about. You should be writing articles about comic books.
Well, I want you to rethink this because what if he actually did direct? He would get to direct Zendaya. And that might be enough to make her quit acting.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
I did not touch her. I did not.
Hey, believe all women, Tommy. You did. Our chat, man. They're great. It's like you got number one nowhere going, yes, Queen, and Frosted Glass is like, he is not a hack, he is brilliant. Delahay's going, what Frosted said. Like, Jesus Christ, you guys. He's a genius, I tells ya.
He's a giant chicken.
Well, here's some relatively good news. And I don't like to see bad things befall people. I just like their relative level of talent to be recognized for what it actually is. IDW cancels Magdalene Visaggio's Marilyn Manor and other Black Crown titles. I don't want to see people do bad. I just want to see Mags to stop getting comics that she doesn't deserve based upon her relative level of writing talent compared to other writers. That's all. Marilyn Manor was part of, IDW's Black Crown imprint from Shelley Bond. The book was created by Magdalene Visaggio, Marley Zarcone, and Irma Kildalalabla, and Tamara Bondvillain. Here's the official description of the first book, which hit comic book shelves in June. Oh, this should be hot.
Oh, God.
Where were you in 81 when the White House goes dark for 17 days in August? The president's spoiled daughter and her best friend, Abe, who claims to be possessed by the spirit of Abe Lincoln, throw a rager at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, unearthing long-dead historical figures and government secrets that are better left buried. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll seances and secret passages lead to time-bending mystical romps where past and present collide. But at what cost to Marilyn Kalahara, the world at large, and music television?
That sounds like a stupid comic book.
Yeah, the premise is dumb. BG makes a good point, though. Tommy Wiseau could direct the America Chavez movie.
Oh, dude,
Now
okay.
that I'd watch the shit out of. Yeah.
I would watch the fuck out of that.
But Tommy Wiseau is neither a Latina nor a lesbian nor woke.
True, but it would be awesome. I'd own that video.
But I mean, current standards dictate that the protagonist of the film has to be identical to the writer of the film as well as the director.
Yeah, these are woke rules, and I don't approve of that. I didn't agree to that.
Don't ruin this for me, Polly.
Speaking
No,
of woke rules, check out this article. BAFTA.
Yeah, I'm not surprised the Black Crown titles got canceled.
Neither am I.
They were all awful.
Of course they were. They were only put together because of the names associated with them, Bond villain and Mags and so forth. And the ideas didn't have a good core to them. It was like Ignited. Mark Waid and Kwanzaa. Like you guys, your Ignited collection of titles is going to fail. You have to realize this because it doesn't. Being comic book professionals, you should have known that this isn't going to work. There's not a line of woke kids looking to spend money on comics. Like the phantom audience we're always talking about. If we print it, they will buy. That's not true. Hasn't been demonstrated to you enough times yet.
No.
Like Mark Waid, you built an entire career on writing comics and writing certain kinds of comics. And the things you got very well paid off of, were they woke? Mark, be honest with yourself. Were they? They weren't, were they? Do you know what I mean? Like and the stuff that you wrote that's woke, you're really getting paid because of your name. Think about it, Mark Waid. Be honest with yourself. Get woke, go broke. Come on. So anyway, BAFTA.
I have to bring up real quick. John Connor said, I thought Chavez was an alien. So is Tommy Wiseau, so it's fine.
But she's an extra dimensional visitor, not technically an alien.
She's as much of an alien as Tommy Wiseau is because of how he acts.
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone to reveal where he's from, and I don't want him doxxed or nothing. I just want to know what the fuck kind of accent that is, for God's sake. BAFTA to introduce diversity requirements for awards eligibility. Eligibility. Thank you. This is extremely depressing. This is extremely, like, we're not even going to consider your movie if it doesn't meet our bullshit standards that are completely artificially created based on the way we think the world should work. Awards are supposed to be rewarding, not proscriptive, for fuck's sake. If you ever want to get a BAFTA award, you better do these things. Go fuck yourself. So, this should be. Oh my God, it's got actual numbers. Oh Jesus. I didn't scroll down before. I just saw there's actual listings. This is frightening. Okay, here we go, gentlemen. You ready?
Yes.
The British Academy of Film and Television Arts, BAFTA, has announced that they will be introducing a set of diversity requirements that television shows will have to meet to be eligible for a BAFTA award. The new set of rules, adapted from the British Film Institute's diversity standards, will be piloted at the 2020 BAFTA Awards, with a full introduction planned for 2021. To help committees and jury members help recognize these standards, they will be offered unconscious bias training. Jesus fucking Christ. You're indoctrinating your judges to judge based upon artificial societal standards that a bunch of retarded pinkos and would-be social architects have come up with.
Well, not only that, wasn't there several studies that prove that the unconscious bias test is all bullshit? Like, it doesn't actually prove anything?
Well,
according to colonialist science, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It proved that, yeah, and there's other studies that prove that babies have unconscious racial bias. Fuck this. Let's move. I really want, we're going on to pitches after this, because these numbers, man, I scrolled down for a second, I had to scroll back up. I saw 50% lesbian, and I was like, what? I don't think it was 50% lesbian, but I saw numbers along those lines, and it was frightening, and I just
50% lesbian.
Something like that's the way it's going to read, right? Like actual quotas, the institutionalization of quotas. This is why are you laughing? This isn't funny, Quiz. Jesus Christ.
It's so sad. It's funny.
Yeah.
This is Clown World full on. Deny Clown World now. Let's read the fucking standards, people.
Nope. My new superhero film, Scissor Lady, she is going to get a BAFTA.
According to the BFI diversity standards encourage equality of opportunity. You lie. You lie.
BFI, is that the big fatty index
This is
for like body mass?
This is equality of outcome, and you fucking well know it, you miserable, dirty junkyard liars. Standards that encourage equality of opportunity and address underrepresentation in the screen industries. In regard to on-screen representation, a production must meet 3 of the following criteria to meet the standard. Section A1. Get frightened, they've got categories. Lead characters, contributors, presenters, / voice artists. At least one of the lead characters or contributors, presenters, or voice artists are from underrepresented groups. Wow. Section A2. Other characters, contributors, presenters, voice artists, competitors. Okay. A total of your secondary or more minor on-screen individuals must meet 1 or more of the following targets. A 50-50 gender balance. 20% belonging to underrepresented ethnic groups. 10% LGBTQ+. 7% deaf and disabled. A significant amount of contributors or competitors resident in the UK outside of London and the south of England. Significant amount of contributors or competitors are from a lower socioeconomic background. In addition, for scripted films and programs, you should indicate these characters' roles in the story where applicable and explain they are characters that are not frequently portrayed on screen or offering non-stereotypical representation. You're supposed to list your virtue signals in your credits, for God's sake.
If that just proves that, like, if you ever see a show that does this, you can just write it off and not watch it.
Yeah, fuck this. Anybody who's willing to bend over for this, like, how could you call yourself an artist? I'm not an artist, okay? But artists talk about artistic integrity, and I get the premise that they're proceeding on. How could you claim painting a picture or making a film or writing a book and meeting preset standards like this is somehow allowing you your artistic freedom? It's bounding your artistic freedom.
No, you know what this is? This is just like the Soviet rules for art.
Yeah. Must portray the state, and group work efforts and the success of the proletariat struggle. And
so the next James Bond movie is going to be a queer woman of color who's disabled in a wheelchair and what has like a spastic tic of some kind.
It's funny. It's funny. We make these jokes about the whole gay person in a wheelchair sort of thing, but I suspect that you're going to start to see a lot of British TV shows, especially ones that just want to take the piss out of the BAFTAs for this bullshit.
Yeah.
That they're going to start to do that kind of thing and make them just like an inconsequential come in to say hi and then leave character that like isn't actually important to the story.
You know what? Yeah, this is making me want to write the most horribly racist, misogynist film ever that happens to meet all of these standards.
Oh, it'll be woke. No, how are they going to do period pieces like the British usually do, like Downton Abbey or Midsummer Night's Murders?
Oh no, dude! I know. I hear what you're saying, but I already know the answer. You haven't seen the memes that go out and the people commenting on BBC and how they do stuff, that the Roman soldiers are black in their historical. They just. Like, well, history's been whitewashed, so there's no problem with putting POCs in historical situations where they never actually were. It's fine.
Yeah, that's insane.
Whatever, fragile white male. It's fine. I mean, it's not like they're trying to apply racist standards to get rid of racism.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing that you went on about it at length earlier. That gets me is the fact that there's this double think that just doesn't compute. When people sit there and say that they don't like racism, they don't like racism, period. Why do you think then that people would be okay with you being racist to white people just because black people at one point in time were disadvantaged? I don't get
Uh,
this
it's because
tacit
they're crazy.
permissiveness.
They're crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
This is how mentally ill people think. It's called magical thinking. And it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else but them.
Yeah. It's so strange to me because like the whole, even just the language they use, the diversity, like white people are not diverse. You need more diversity, aka not white. uh it's just, it's telling of their real agenda, and their real agenda is just, trying to flip the script, making it okay to be racist against white people. It's
This is
transparent as fucking stupid.
Yeah.
this is what I mean. It's like the cry, if you will, of non-racist white people, the cry of people who are against woke stuff, the battle cry, the claim should not be I'm not a racist. It should be indignance in the form of I was lied to. You sold me a false bill of goods. I was told that sexism is wrong and racism is wrong. I believed it and I still believe it, and fuck you. Because what you're saying is racist and you will not convince me otherwise. If it's wrong, it's wrong. That's what makes it a principle. If you can't broadly apply it, it's not a principle at all. No matter how you twist it and distort it in all of these ways. The claim should not be, well, I'm not a racist person. It's like, you're hijacking these terms. You're lying to me right now. I don't want to listen to this. Don't justify the, well, no. I'm just because you're attacking me as a white man. No, I am angry and I am indignant, not because I'm an angry white man, but because you're lying right now and saying this isn't racist when I know it is.
Yeah, and you know.
Yeah, and you damn well know it too. I'm angry at the lying. I mean, the standards, I had to take them off screen and I had to scroll off because I couldn't look at those numbers in those lists. How could any writer who think of themselves as artists, and I think they are artists, or acting artistically, whatever you want to call it, how could you call yourself an artist conforming to these standards? What happens if you want to tell a story of like Jack said, like at certain historical period pieces or at a monastery where it's going to be like all men? Well, we don't have enough deaf lesbians there. We can't make it now. Like
we need to have that one black nun.
Deaf lesbian black nun is my new heavy metal band. I'm just throwing that out there.
All right, let's gentlemen, let's pitch comics and bring this to an end. I thought this was going to kind of be a fun one. This turned out to be so depressing. This whole I'm sorry, Chad. Jesus Christ.
And we weren't even depressing about the Joker, and that was actually a pretty depressing movie.
Yeah,
but it was so well done. Go see the Joker, you guys.
Yes,
it's a fun film.
If there's anything extremely positive to take away from this stream, it's go see the Joker, because you will enjoy the shit out of it.
Yeah, especially if you like depressing things.
Yeah. All right, who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Oh yeah. Bring that over here. Put that up yonder. Back over. Booyah.
Ready?
I don't know.
We'll wait a few seconds and then look at the other screen and let me know.
Oh yeah, no, it's up. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to paint a picture. Look at this beautiful skyline. You're in New York City with your friends. You're about to go out to Afghanistan and ship out. And you're thinking, well, you guys don't have to have such a big party. And they're like, oh, Terry, we love you. You're a great guy. So we're going to get together and have one last big blowout at this event that we're actually crashing from this girl's dad. Because they found this hidden room and everybody's going to do a big reveal, so these guys are getting in on the action because they figure why not, right?
Right.
Like there's all these extra invitations, there's big renovations going on. It's cool. He's going to war. These are his friends.
Okay.
Look at that. Look at these cheerful people. Oh yeah, dead people. Oh, you're thinking Die Hard, right? No, because what Die Hard doesn't have? Friends for one,
Oh,
but also an observation deck, cops with guns, shooting people.
what?
Like
This
so,
looks like
Are those-
Charlie Ardlard's
It
art,
is.
by the way. Oh, okay.
and shit sucking vampires. More vampires. Oh no! This is Vampire State Building, issue 1 from Ablaze. With Charlie Adlard, or whatever his name is, and Angie and Patrick Renault were the writers. It was a lot of fun, like surprisingly. This is issue 1, and shit gets real fast. Like not even halfway in the book, and boom, everything's going nuts. It's crazy fun. I had a great time reading this. I thought, well, I'm going to recommend this because I think a lot of people are going to sleep on this one
Mhm.
and not realize how good it actually is. I mean, look at that cover. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when it came up. That's how you do a cover if you don't want to do action pack, because that tells you a lot and draws you in. It's a striking image, and yeah.
Yeah, and it's got the Empire State Building here.
Yep.
It's got like bloody hand. It's got kind of a 30 Days a Night feel, only good. And,
Ooh.
30 Days a Night was a terrible comic. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
Interesting
cool
premise.
concept.
Yeah.
Terrible execution.
Exactly. Fascinating premise. Very clever, but yeah,
Yeah.
it failed in execution.
Look what's on his wall here. Walking Dead cover.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at that shot. Look at that perspective shot. The vampire looks creepy. Dude on his phone. It's not a flat angle. You're looking up at him. It's just the art is really good if you like Charlie Adler. And I do. I like his art for some reason. It's normally not a style I would enjoy, but I do like it. And there's a lot happens in here. It's a lot of fun. I took some non-spoiler panels because there's some crazy shit in here. But
say
and from
his-
Ablaze, I don't know anything about that publication house.
they're new.
Okay.
and what was the publication?
Ablaze.
Ablaze. Okay.
Yeah, as in a towering inferno.
Yeah.
It went up in a blaze. But yeah, I liked it. The comic shop guy recommended it to me, and I was like, yeah, I was planning on picking up anyway. And he's like, well, we're sold out, but I got you one anyway. And I was like, dude, you know me too well.
I'll say this for it. Charlie Adlard's art. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. When he has just like characters standing around doing a whole lot of nothing, like most of Walking Dead, it's not very good. When he does action scenes, it's pretty good. And when he gets someone to actually color his work, it can look really good.
Yeah.
So
the fact that this is in color, and you know what, it was a quick read, but you don't notice that because there's actually a lot going on in here. There's a lot of different people at play, more than the group I showed. There's actually other people involved, and I was actually really impressed. It was a pretty fun book, and I thought, well, I'll recommend it to you guys and the audience because it's rare that you find a really good comic that is worth sharing, that is from some company you've never heard of.
Yeah. I
So
was actually
that's why I'm always trying to find these.
Eve is in chat and she's saying like, nice, lol. That was what I thought right away. I'm like, hey, that might be a comic that Eve wants to read.
yeah.
Like if
Yeah, I thought of you too because she does the vampire stuff.
yeah, absolutely. And is really into the games and so on, and the lore and the fiction around it. That seems like something that might be right up her alley.
Yeah, so I thought, well, I'll share this one because I liked it. And if I liked it, if you like horror stuff, you're probably going to really like it because I'm kind of 50-50 on horror books.
Yeah, I have
Mm.
tried giving the horror stuff a run for its money, and a fair one. Like I went for the good stuff, but I ended up you guys know me. It's like I'd rather read detective stuff. It's
Yeah.
Early Walking Dead was good.
I did yeah. It's not like I didn't read it. I was like, I think this is good. I just don't think this is something I enjoy very much. If that makes sense, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. It. So quiz. Would you like to go or shall I?
Sure, I can go.
Okay.
My
You.
pitch is written by Brian Hill, penciled by N. Stephen Harris, inked by Dexter Vines, and colors by Steve Buscioletto. I think Buscioletto. My pitch is to Wildstorm, Michael Cray, issue number 1.
Huh.
If you've guys have never heard of this, Wildstorm was, I believe, it was a property that was owned originally by Jim Lee, and was part of the Wildstorm publishing, uh, house, which was then bought and brought over to DC. So this is actually a fairly new DC comic. This is the issue number 1 here was in December of 2017. But what's kind of interesting about Michael Cray, his superhero name, the name for his pseudonym is Deathblow, from when he was in Wildstorm. But essentially, what this story and all of the Wildstorm books from 2017 and beyond are about is, like, Michael Cray is this veteran soldier who's recruited by the US government to hunt down vigilantes and people acting outside of the law. And you'll see right here, this is the very important first panel here. This page in particular, the one on the left, is a guy in a shipwreck with a green tunic and blonde hair.
Uh-huh.
You survived. You can always survive. Well, this is when Michael Cray, is recruited into the government organizations, and is asking to go on an assassination attempt of Oliver Queen.
Oh, really?
So this is an alternate universe where Oliver Queen didn't become a superhero after surviving his shipwreck on that deserted island. He instead used his wealth and his position to buy the island, turning it into a game preserve where he then hunts people.
Oh, isn't that the dream? I mean, it's messed up.
And so, yeah, what's really kind of cool about the series, I've only read the first 3 issues, or no, sorry, the first 2 issues, but I'm planning on getting all the rest. I kind of slept on this one a little bit too. I really like the Wildstorm reissues from 2017, but at the end of the second issue, there's his liaison to the home office, saying that he needs to get to Central City and he needs to do it quickly because he needs to go and talk to someone called Barry Allen. So, yeah, no, this is actually a really interesting, interesting story where all of the DC superheroes are actually DC supervillains, and the government has hired an assassin to go around and kill all of them.
Nice. Actually, that is interesting. I'd like the. I wouldn't call that art style complicated. As a matter of fact, I'd call it simple, but I liked it.
Oh yeah, Michael Cray is actually a really good storyline, and like I said, man, it had me at issue 1 when the main villain of the series, at that point was Oliver Queen. I'm like, fuck, man, that's actually an interesting twist that I'm all for.
Yeah, I've got a couple of issues of this. I've never read it though.
Oh yeah, you should read it. It's actually pretty good. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
I'll
I
check
say,
it.
like I said, I've only read the first 2 issues, but it's got me. I'm gonna go and get the back issues and start collecting all of it.
All right. Bring up my one here. This wanting. I've been watching a bunch of 1970s material lately, commercials and
You don't say.
no, I have been, and even comics and stuff because guys, I'm just getting burnt out on current year clown world. Like not in need of a vacation from current year clown world. How about that? I don't feel burnt out. I just feel like the repetition of social media. It feels like the same drumbeat of the same things, and it's kind of like ugh. You know, I've come up with this theory that imagination died sometime around the year 2000. I don't know what happened, but anyway. My pitch for today,
To which Far responded with a chicken.
as well she should. She gets it. She understands. 7-foot chickens have all the deals, don't you know? The Shadow Strikes. This is DC's run of the Shadow, starting in 1989. Yeah,
I've been collecting that one.
Yep. It is okay. First of all, let's just if this cover doesn't make you want to buy this comic, well, that means the comic probably isn't for you, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But if this cover speaks to you, you're gonna love this comic. This is what I'm getting at. Okay, this is awesome. So this is 1935 version of Mark Cranston's Shadow. And if you are new to the Shadow, you don't know the mythos, you don't know the history, the pulps, all of that. I was surprised at what a great introduction to all of the lore that this comic is. Like it starts off like he's even at the Cobalt Club. I love it. Oh yeah, and they even have the date 1935. And it's like, I'm supposed to bring this to Lamont Cranston. Do you have any idea who he is? And it's, yes, he's in his usual spot right over there. All of the characters are being introduced through the story. The narrative reveals exposition instead of it all being on the first page. Looking at you, Marvel, pay attention. It can be done.
Right.
This is a great DC run. I'm having fun with how much I'm enjoying it. Mr. Cranston! For Christ's sake, he has no head. But of course, he's the great faker. It's just like a suit that was standing there in the way. This is an awesome comic. You have, for those of you who don't know, the Shadow is the spirit of vengeance. That's his thing. He deals out raw justice with either a Tommy gun or two 1911s, and he's quick to lay out his own vigilante justice on whom he feels it needs to be laid out on. He's vicious, and he is a killer, and he'll do it when he needs to. But there's a big detective noir element to the story in this story arc that begins with issue number 1 and sets it up quite nicely. The criminals that he's going after are part of an underground cult, being headed by a guru-like figure who's using all sorts of like occult and mysticism to forward the thing, and he detectives his way through it. It's available unfortunately not as a collected edition. Quiz, what kind of price would you look at for these as originals? What have you been paying?
Anywhere between $1 to $2.
Oh Jesus, that's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like worth looking around for. There's so many different runs. I mean, I think the Shadow is still with IDW, right? Or Dynamite.
Dynamite, yeah.
I've enjoyed a lot of the Dynamite runs. But this DC run, this is classic late 80s stuff, y'all. This feels more like mid 80s than it does almost 1990, because there's no hints of extreme or anything like that. It's it's wordy, as you can see, lots of conversation as the story develops. What a fun read. Quiz, back me up on this. This is just great.
Oh yeah.
Detective period stuff, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, the Shadow Strikes is actually one of those comics I'm going back and trying to collect every floppy issue of. It's hands down one of the best Shadow stories I've read.
And the crossover with Batman, yes, he predates Batman, is clear. If you like some of the Batman elements, but not so much the costume criminals thing, more the vigilante aspect of it, hey man, the Shadow might be really up your alley. Cranston spends so much time not as the Shadow, going around collecting information, looking up, and then when it's time to suit up, it's time to break out the 1911s and lay out some 45 slugs. Like it's go time. So you get a lot of stories of him moving around and interacting with his main go-to, Margot Lane, and so forth. Awesome. I highly recommend it. The Shadow Strikes DC series from 89, beginning in 89. with this one, issue number 1. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Another show in the can, episode 65, I believe. I didn't have a thumbnail ready for tonight. That's why we didn't show one. But I have some stuff in store, and I'm going to post it up. What would we call it? Posthumously, I guess. After the fact, I will put it up. So, if you haven't already, by all means, hit that like button on your way out. Hey, Vanilla Bear just showed up. Hey, Vanilla Bear. If you haven't hit like already, please do so on your way out. If you're listening after the fact, please feel free to share the stream on social media or make a comment below. We definitely get a chance to read them all and respond to most, and we do really love hearing from you. Gentlemen, any final comments?
Go see Joker.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Go see Joker.
Yeah.
It's well worth it.
And go buy some comic books. Find some good stuff. There's lots of good stuff out there. You just got to hunt for it.
Yep.
And we talked about it. Well, here's my final thought. We talked about a lot of like woke shit and crazy shit that's going on, trying to promote social Marxism and all this other stuff. In my opinion, for whatever it's worth, the most justifiable response you can make is to not justify yourself. I'm not a racist. I think that you're lying to me. I know what racism is and I know what sexism is, and you're twisting it. I'm angry because you're lying to me. Don't let them twist basic fact. Oh, I'm also going to send out something on Twitter. I just looked up and I saw Grisella's art of me with a beagle in front of a fireplace reading a comic is up in the bottom right-hand corner of the slideshow. I'm going to retweet out Grisella's DeviantArt page as well as the comic that he has up. Love the art, love the comic. That's why I'm happy to tell others about it. I want as many people to read it as they can because he deserves promotion.
Yes.
Because as far as I know, he's not trans, so he can't look forward to free promotion like Mags Visaggio can. Just saying.
And of course, thanks for the Streamlabs, you guys. That's very generous of you.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Good point.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the Streamlabs. It keeps the show going because, God knows, it's tough. We don't want Polly to have to go get a third job to be able to afford food and shelter.
Thanks to Evolve for tossing the links in chat.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we will see you next time. Same time, same channel. See you then. Have a good night, all.
Bye.
Bye.